Hello again, and welcome back to another edition of the Wiccan Conservative. Today, we have to talk about this story that is not getting much play in the news either. Kentucky sheriff killed judge in his chambers following an argument, police say. This story broke on a Friday last week, I do believe. And the initial reporting was just a gunshot victim inside the courthouse. So, of course, the mainstream media news went on a tirade and became prepared to start the gun narrative yet again. But as details emerged, they quickly backed away from the case, and now we see why. The shooter wasn't a random teenager or even a deranged white serial killer. It happened to be the county sheriff, and the victim was a judge. So, without further ado, let's find out what CNN knows so far. Investigators are trying to determine why a Kentucky sheriff shot and killed a district judge after they argued inside the judge's chambers, according to Kentucky State Police. District Judge Kevin Mullins, age 54, was found around 3 p.m. Thursday with gunshot wounds and pronounced dead at Letcher County Courthouse in Whitesburg, Kentucky State. Police trooper Matt Gayhart said at a Thursday evening news conference. Letcher County Sheriff Sean M. Steins, age 43, whose role made him responsible for judge's personal security, shot Mullins after an argument inside the judge's chambers, a preliminary investigation released. Steins is now facing a first-degree murder charge, state police said, and CNN is still trying to determine whether Steins has an attorney. Now, they said that they heard arguing in chambers, but there is no actual witness who claims that they heard verbatim what they were arguing about. So let's scroll down a little bit further into the CNN article. Law enforcement has yet to release the details about the argument that led up to the shots, and motive remains under investigation, Gayhart said, adding that the incident was quote unquote isolated. The first court appearance for Steins is scheduled for September 25th before a judge in Carter County, about 100 miles away from the crime scene. Steins is being jailed in Leslie County, more than 40 miles from the Letcher County Courthouse. It was not clear Friday if Steins will remain in Leslie County or be transferred elsewhere before his hearing, Steele told CNN. So this judge and this sheriff knew each other. They worked together. The sheriff was in charge of protecting the judges, and there was an argument that took place prior to the shooting, although no witnesses can confirm exactly what they were arguing about. Now, after doing some more research, CNN did actually come up with a potential theory. Mullins, the judge, was a resident of Jackhorn, served as a district judge for Kentucky's 47th District Court in Letcher County since being appointed in 2009 by former Governor Steve Bashar, the current executive's father, according to the Associated Press. He was elected a year later, then re-elected in 2014, 2018, and again in 2022. Before his judicial appointment, Mullins served as an assistant Commonwealth's attorney in Letcher County and primarily focused on drug-related offenses. He was admitted to the bar in '95. Mullins was known for promoting substance abuse treatment for people involved in the justice system and helped hundreds of residents enter inpatient residential treatment, citing a program for a drug summit he spoke at in 2022. The history of the judge on the bench is going to come into play in regards to what the potential argument could have been about. Now, in this particular instance, we are hearing that this judge was known for promoting substance abuse treatment programs, which would be an alternative to a jail sentence. So he was a judge that felt that he was more proactive helping the community than locking them up. So we're getting a painted picture of the judge being a lenient option in the courthouse for a potential drug offender. This would be a judge that they would want to get in front of. The sheriff, on the other hand, was a completely opposite story. Steins was deposed earlier this week in an ongoing federal lawsuit informing a former deputy who coerced a woman to have sex with him in Mullins Chambers in 2021. Sabrina Adkins and Jennifer Hill filed suit against Steins and Deputy Ben Fields in 2022, claiming the deputy said he would keep Adkins out of jail and on home release while avoiding paying fees associated with the ankle monitor in exchange for sex. According to the complaint, Adkins told Fields, her home incarceration officer, she was having difficulty finding a place to live and could not afford an ankle monitor. The deputy made flirtatious comments about Sabrina's looks and body and told her that he was confident that they could work something out. So just a quick pause. This is the deputy arresting officer, not necessarily the sheriff. The reason that the sheriff is being named in this incident is because he is the head of the police department, therefore the boss of the deputy in question. So let's continue reading. Adkins alleged the deputy met her after dark in the chambers of Judge Mullins, telling Sabrina that he wanted to meet her there because there were no cameras, the lawsuit says. Fields was accused of meeting with Adkins at the courthouse during evening or early morning hours, roughly a half a dozen times, including for sex in Mullins Chambers over a 7-month period. Hill, the second plaintiff, accused Fields of falsely claiming she was not meeting the terms of her home confinement after she refused to do a favor for him, which she interpreted as a request for sex. The lawsuit says after Hill was later arrested, Fields harassed her at home and explicitly demanded oral sex and later sexual intercourse in his sheriff's office vehicle in exchange for staying out of jail. Fields ultimately was charged with multiple felonies and a misdemeanor, including rape, tampering with a monitoring device, and was given a suspended jail sentence as part of a plea deal earlier this year, according to the Mountain Eagle newspaper. So to me, it sounds like this sheriff was vaguely aware that the judge could potentially be involved with the inappropriate relationships that his officer was facilitating with defendants inside the judge's chambers. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I believe that that could potentially cause an argument, especially when the judge is getting accolades for being an outside of the box thinking man, and the sheriff is the one who's being named in personal allegations against his staff and office. So this is where it gets really interesting. Hill has since died, and criminal charges against Fields related to her were dropped. But her estate is continuing to pursue the lawsuit against Field and Steins, court records show. The lawsuit alleges sexual allegations against Fields were not properly investigated by Sheriff Steins. Steins fired Fields in 2022 after the lawsuit was filed for conduct unbecoming, according to a disciplinary letter obtained by the Louisville Courier-Journal newspaper. In a response filed to the lawsuit, defense attorneys wrote, Mickey Steins at all times acted in good faith and exercised reasonable care and skill in effectuating his duties as required by law. Defendants also argued the case should be dismissed because of the statute of limitations and sovereign immunity. Steins was deposed in the case on Monday. Plaintiffs and defendants' attorneys both confirmed to CNN. They did not reveal any details of his testimony. They're probably not going to release any details in relation to his testimony until after the case is settled, as this seems to be a pending, ongoing issue, not to mention now we have a murder. So I'm really interested to find out more about this Kentucky case and exactly what is going on with our law enforcement agencies, as the left would have you believe defunding the police is a good thing. And I don't necessarily believe that to be true, but I think that we should be going into these agencies and finding out exactly who is doing what and who is breaking the law behind the citizens' backs, because apparently even our officers are getting tired of the judges making side deals that they have no control over and ultimately have to answer for to the public. So that's all I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And on that note, I will catch you guys on the next one.